y'all. Did I wake you up, Cherry? I hope you had a good weekend. We had a great weekend. It was like an all diesel, all the time weekend. It was great, really. At one point, we walked down the hill. He showed me where they scattered Diesel's ashes. You know, it's just a clearing between the trees and the motte. It's not a big deal, but it's nice to know exactly, where the ashes were scattered. And Bob told me that it's a lot more grown up, more undergrowth than there was, back in the 60s. We took a long walk on the property. Robert showed me where he found the body when he was like 7 or 8 years old. I think it was the year he turned 7, his 7th birthday, because he had, just started reading, and Uncle Diesel got him these cool books. But we went for a walk down on the south end of the property. We had a hard time finding it because there's a lot of undergrowth there that wasn't before. In the decades that have come and gone, a bunch of Yupon has grown up around the area, and a bunch of these, I don't even know exactly what they're called, but we call them trash trees. They only seem to grow up around established live oak or post oaks, and they like spread out around, and they grow up, and eventually the oak in the middle dies, and you're left with these trash trees and Yupon. And they don't even leave room for like blackberries to climb up on them and make blackberries. So it's a lot of undergrowth and stuff, but we finally found the place where he found Uncle Diesel's body. So the day after Robert's birthday, Uncle Diesel went out to take a walk after he had coffee in the morning. Around lunchtime, Robert's mom told him to go out, find Uncle Diesel. It's lunchtime. So Robert went walking, calling for him, Uncle Diesel, Uncle Diesel. He went off the road on one of the cattle trails, the cow trails, and he was calling for him, looking for him, and finally found him in a place on the trail that the cows make when they walk around to eat, and between some trees. And Uncle Diesel should have heard him calling, but never responded. And Uncle Diesel was like laying down on his stomach like he had fallen but not gotten up. Robert says his hat was knocked off his head and kind of over his face, and so Robert said he was afraid to touch him. And he got a long stick and he poked him and said, "Hey, Uncle Diesel, Uncle Diesel." And when Uncle Diesel didn't move after being poked with a stick, he got the nerve up to like nudge him with his hand and check on him, and his eyes were open, not seeing. And that's when he knew for sure his Uncle Diesel had died. And he didn't freak out or anything like that. And I said, like, well, did you scream? Did you holler? Were you startled? Did you jump back or something? And he said, well, no. He was dead. No need to get shocked about it now. Maybe if he had found him while he was like still barely alive, he would have been shocked or something. But he was like, yeah, his eyes were open, but he wasn't seeing anything. And that's how Robert knew Uncle Diesel had taken flight to the great beyond. So he went back up to the house and he told his mom and his dad and the normal things that happened when someone dies. There was a memorial service, and there was a cremation later, and when the ashes came back, the family scattered him down at the bottom of the hill. But that was all there was to it. But all weekend long, Robert was telling me stories about his Uncle Diesel. His Uncle Diesel drank hard and drove fast, and most of the time when Uncle Diesel came over, the kids got shooed out. You kids go outside and play. That's the way it was when we were kids. Our parents didn't hover. Our parents were like, you kids go outside. Y'all been in town. Y'all been inside too long. Or grown-ups need to talk. Y'all go on outside. And I remember my parents and grandparents sending us out too. That's the way it was when we were kids. The grown-ups wanted to talk or talk about something, they would just tell the kids to go outside. Sometimes they would just send us outside because they were tired of listening to us and looking at us. Hey, you kids get on out of here. Y'all been inside too long. So all weekend long, Robert was telling me stories about his Uncle Diesel, about his adventures with and against the law, about a pretty woman he would bring to different family events, and then the family would just not ever see them again. Stories that he got told once he got old enough to understand. So Uncle Diesel was single and broke when he died. The story goes that he got his heart broken by one pretty woman, and then he never had anything to do with women after that. This was before Robert was born, so it could have been back in the 50s or something. And he met this woman, and he was walking on clouds, and he was just madly in love. And he was telling all of his family about this beautiful woman he had met. He was really in love this time. But he'd said that before, and nobody really thought anything of it. Finally, Uncle Diesel came to talk to his brother, and he said, I really think this is the one. And I really think, well, I'm going to settle down and marry Cecilia. And then it has a sad ending, because the next weekend, she got him drunk and cleaned him out and disappeared. She was about half his age. I'm just barely out of high school. He was old enough to be her father. And in spite of all of the womanizing he had done all his life, this was the one that broke his heart. And he just didn't date anybody after that. And he didn't have any money left to date with. And he didn't really have enough money to retire on. And kind of a sad ending to his one true love story. But he was always the life of the party and the life of the family. And everybody loved Uncle Diesel. Everybody had a story to tell about Uncle Diesel, an adventure with Uncle Diesel, a misadventure with Uncle Diesel. And so it was really cool to see where his ashes are scattered and to be able to remember him. I really liked seeing the place, even where Robert found his body. It shows ties to the land, ties to the place, and how strong the ties of family are. And after hearing his story, the ties of love. Once you love somebody, you hardly ever stop, even when it goes bad. Anyway, I've been working on the picture that I showed y'all. I've been adding stitches. And I just wanted y'all to see what kind of stitches I'm adding and how I'm turning the sketch into a thread painting. Thread picture. I've been trying to keep these videos to about 20 minutes, but I've been talking for almost 10 minutes here. I think I'm going to wrap this one up and just post it by itself, but then post one at the end of the week with the rest of my little daily vlogs. I love y'all and miss y'all. Love, Spike.